Hello and welcome back. Day 13 of IAE is here. Let's see if 13 is a lucky or unlucky number for some Warbond CCUs. The first Warbond CCU available is the Hammerhead. There are unfortunately not a lot of great choices here, guys. We've got the closest ones in price for $25 upgrade and both $25 upgrades are the Merchantman and the Orion. I know you can get the Merchantman in a Warbond right now, which might be tempting. However, because it's still concept, this price it's definitely going to increase. In fact, the Merchantman is so sought after and so loved, even though we don't really know its capabilities yet. I have one in my hangar, by the way. This thing will probably see 890 jump pricing by the end. That's my guess. It's going to be just as capable, just as luxury. That's what the Banu are known for, is luxury vessels. They kind of express how wealthy they are by the stuff in their ships and in their homes. It's going to be an expensive ship. This would be a bad choice for the Hammerhead, in my opinion. The Orion, the biggest mining vessel possible, also going to increase in price. I don't know how much, but it's a bad option here because it's still in concept. Any of these Carracks are probably the best choice for you, especially if you already have one in your chain. This is the basic Carrack with C8X. This is a Carrack Expedition. This is a Carrack Expedition with a C8X. This one's the highest price one, so that's really the best option here at $30. The other ones are going to increase your spend at 50 and more, I think. The next one down, it's only 25, so 55. Anything post that, the first two, again, more concept ships. Oh my gosh, they're all concept ships. So the next real viable one is going to be this one at $155 upgrade. That's not really playing this DCU game, in my opinion. But let's see here. The Liberator. Do we think... Oh man, that's $100, so that's $675. If this goes to $675, you would pay $100 for $50 worth of savings. Probably not worth it. Even if this goes to $650, right? You're paying $100 for $75 worth of difference, or a $75 upgrade in ship. Again, not worth it. The only thing that would make this worth it is if this $575 only went to like $600, but then you're spending $100 to save $25. I don't think this is a good option. Even if you're going to speculate to the Hammerhead with the Liberator, it's not a good spec choice, in my opinion. Really, the best choices are these three, depending on what you have in your chain already. If you don't have anything in your chain already and you're just trying to maximize savings, that's your only choice, guys, right there. All right, next up, we have the Prowler. It's been on CCU sale before, or Warbond sale before. Cool little ship. It's changed over the years. I haven't gotten to fly this IAE. It used to be an extremely maneuverable ship. In fact, it was like there was an event. I don't even remember what event it was. I don't remember. But you upscale the weapons on this thing and it can maneuver right behind the ships that you wanted to take out, and it was fantastic. Then they reduced its handling, which didn't make much sense because it's a troop combat drop ship. You'd think it'd want to have really good handling. Anyway, I hope it's better now. I haven't flown it in a while. It's still going to be a pretty cool ship by the end of things, or when it goes live. Let's check out the options here. Reclaimer seems like a solid option. $10 for $30 savings. That's pretty good, guys. 3-to-1 odds. That's awesome. Genesis, bad option. It's a concept vehicle. The savings seem the same anyway, so there's no reason to go for the Genesis over the Reclaimer. C2 Herc, same thing as the Prowler, same thing as the Reclaimer. They're both $400 ships. If the price is the same, the only other things you would want to speculate on is, A, do you have something leading up to the C2, or do you have something leading up to the Reclaimer that would make sense that's already in your chain? Or are you going to speculate as to whether or not which one of these will get a Warbond next? Between these two, who knows, man. IAE is the best event to get either one of these because they're not combat ships. So, speaking of which, there's combat ships are usually the only ones that are made into Warbonds during Invictus, and most of the other minor events like St. Paddy's Day or What are some of the other ones? Well, Christmas has a random possibility of any of them, right? But combat ships overall are more likely to get a Warbond CCU, just based over past events of the years and the history of tracking this. Combat ships just have a higher viability of getting a Warbond because of the events during which Warbonds are offered. So neither of these are combat ships. So again, it's up in the air, man. I think both of them have had a Warbond in the past. I wouldn't hazard a guess. So if you've got one of these in your chain already, that's the one for you. If not, you're just going to have to, gamble and roll the dice on it. This is a bad option as well because it's a very limited ship. If you don't already have it, you're probably not going to get it. Galaxy, another bad one because it's a concept. $30 for a concept ship that's probably going to increase in price by $30. So who knows? You're just shrinking your savings at this point, right? Going down to the Valk. I think the Valk is probably a solid choice comparatively to some of the other ones. You're still paying $35, which would make this, a $35 savings here? Because that's 410. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's still $20 of savings. It's not great. But again, if you already have the Valk, and let's say this is the last link in your chain because you really want the Prowler, maybe you just bite the bullet and leave some savings on the table so you can complete your ship. But again, that's not maximizing your savings, and that's what we try to do here on the CCU game. So the Reclaimer and Hercules, those are the best two choices. After that, I would say yes, Valkyrie, Standard Edition. And after that, you're leaving way too much money on the table. That's my opinion. Sort of viable if you have the Glaive as a referral reward. That's the only other one that I would consider, because you've already saved $350. You're only out of pocket $60 to make a $440 ship. Yeah, sure. If those savings are good enough for you, I think they'd be good enough for me. If I was in a hurry to get the ship for some reason and didn't want to maximize it and only pay less, probably $30-$35 or something. Yeah, maybe that's viable. But again, very limited kind of idea here is that you've already got this basically for free as a referral reward, and you're only spending $60 on a $440 ship. That's not a bad deal. Okay. So moving on to what's next, the Razor LX. That's a new one. I have never seen it on Warbond, but it doesn't mean that it hasn't happened before. It's totally possible that these have existed before. I just haven't seen it. Freelancer Dirt, that would fit perfectly into one of my chains. I know it would. I'm probably going to add this one to my cart. Again, spending 5, saving 10 total for a $15 upgrade. Not a bad deal there. Any of these either of these $35 ships. Cutlass Red, same deal, same price, same savings. The 350R, well, that was just on Warbond, so guess what? That could make a good deal. But you're leaving quite a bit on the table, right? 125 plus 15 is 140, which means you're spending 15 to save 10. So you reduce your overall savings, you increase your spend. Maybe not the best, right? Maybe it would be better instead to do something like, that would cost, what was that? $15? Okay, so that's $15. Instead, you could do, let's see here, the 350R2. Let's do this inverse. So the Freelancer Dur for 10. Well, I guess it's still $15, right? And then you would do the Dur 2. I did that inversely. To the Razor LX. So it's still going to be 5 and 10, $15. Same amount of savings if you wanted to take 2 steps. And with 2 steps there, see, that's the thing. With 2 steps, if you bought 2 of those war bonds, or 1 non-war bond and 1 war bond, you have more options in the future because you can always get rid of the standard one and get store credit for it. Or you can always buy it with store credit. I'm not saying you spend more money for a store credit one, but if you have 2 CCUs in this part of the chain, or 2 links in the chain rather, you do have more options if additional war bonds come out over the future as you keep playing the game and they accumulate, and you may be able to, remix how they're put together and get more savings out of the chain. So that is something to think about in the future, instead of just jumping, instead of just buying this $5 one. If you're trying to look at further down your chain because you have the 350R, for instance, this wouldn't be the best move, even though it's the same amount of savings and the same amount of spend. Well, first off, this would be $15 in new money. You can't use a war bond. I'm sorry, you can't use store credit for a war bond. So this is $15 new that you absolutely must spend. Whereas the other method that I just demonstrated would be $5 new out of pocket versus a possibility of using $10 in store credit, which is, again, $5 new isn't as bad as $15 new in my opinion. So you could do it that way as well. As for the rest of what's available, nothing's changed in the standalones, nothing's changed in the packs. So there's nothing new there. It's just these 3 new Warbond CCUs that are available. So that's it for me. So that wasn't a spectacular day of savings, but at least it gave us a few options for some of those higher price ships and some mid-ranges as well. You guys keep on saving that money. Zi-Tek out.